Hello. I am my hair's not doing good today. It's like everywhere. Woo. I hate it when it gets in my armpits. You can get the hair in the armpits, it's like it's better this way. It looks like hairy armpits. I got hairy armpits. Look, I got hairy. My armpits are so hairy. Look at that. Oh. That's what girls should long hair, just freak out the man and do the long. I used to do this a little. I got long armpit hair. It shows something funny because that's why a lot of women with long hair put their hair in braids, because we end up having it, and it's something that we don't talk about in our armpits. I'm not wearing makeup. I spent 3 hours, well, it felt like 3 hours, spent a long time on Patreon, and I want to launch my Patreon, and they're looking into they're really old videos. They're when I was still overweight. So I'm like, oh, I hope they, think it's okay. I try to do different venues, and now I'm just talking about weed and stuff. I wanted to put you guys on the end. I have spent some time, and I had to do some errand running yesterday in Vegas. It was hot, and I now need to have my air conditioning in my Jeep looked at. So yeah, it's not good. I think they did something where they where my air conditioning went, it's not doing so good. I wanted to say I love you guys, and I am going to put since I'm waiting on my Patreon, I can't do nothing once it's up for review. I can't do nothing to it. That means I can't get people like, you could share like a thing for Patreon, and you do a certain thing, and more or less what I want to do is I want to sell cups. I want to know, should I put my face on there and say, this is my channel, or should I put a different, like a picture of a welcome sign to Pahrump? What do you think I should do? Should I, should I put my face on a coffee mug, or I forgot the so here it is. I'm on Patreon going, really? I would love to launch and really, take effect of all this. I am so excited. I have launched before, and I hope that this is a better time. I don't know what happened. I also didn't have a computer like this. So right now I have a lot more to deal with, and I want to know, should I put a mug or t-shirt? Tell me what you feel. Hopefully no one says a thing here, I get very few. I would like to know what you feel. Do you feel that I should put it on a mug? I got a choice, a mug or, apparel or whatever. And I'm like, should I put my face on there? I'm thinking of having a picture of me in front of the sign, and it's been so desperately hot. In the evening, I'm going to have that picture. I have my outfit. I got my cool outfit, so, and I also have my swimsuit. So this is my I just want to thank you guys. That sounds good, Casey. I'm excited. Steffi's Adventures in a cool front, maybe the word. Yeah, that'd be good. That's a good idea. So should I put my face on there or no? Is just a cool front, or just, Because I was just thinking of putting the sign, welcome to, the welcome to Pahrump sign. You can't see the sign is so light. You can't, it's very photogenic, but in a car, it's not seeable. So I'm thinking of just taking a picture of the new sign. I like the sign. My husband doesn't. I like it. I like Pahrump. I think, I was joking with a friend of mine over when I was a bartender. And I got this guy that worked for the government, and he worked near where my dad worked. Back in the day, he wasn't there. He was way younger. I called him asshole. I knew his real name. I ran his credit card. I knew, but he didn't want no one to know his real name because he was also someone who is a kind of political figure. Not political, but he's not a political. He's well known through the internet. And we would talk, and he would go, and he was the only one I can really ask. Yeah. Oh, good. I was wondering if that would be a good idea. Yeah. I also had to get ideas for my hacker, because I was having a problem with my Facebook, because in order to connect it to Patreon, you have to know your password. Facebook doesn't show your password, by the way. There's reasons why. So if someone gets in, they're not going to have all total access. So you have to redo the whole thing. And I had to get a hacker, and they finally said, the way you want it, you're just going to have to redo the password. I'm like, fuck. Redo the password. Password's all done. And now I got to deal with Google. And since I am trying to launch what I have, what they're going to do is look into that. I am going to put a link for my PayPal underneath these. And what I'm going to do is, if you want to help my endeavors, because I bought a mic in my office. I don't have it on now, but I got my mic, and I got, my light. That alone was well over $100. The mic was, I think it was $50. Yeah, and I was tax and everything. Both of them were well over $100. Now, I'm not begging for money. I'm just saying, if you have some extra and you enjoy talking with me and you enjoy having my company on here, that would be great. Because just playing, the reason why I don't play the music in the daytime, then I have to go and put all the people I have on there. How many times I played. I usually just do it in line, how they came up, how I played, and it's a lot of work. So I'm doing this. I know that the reason why I play Mozart and the 1920s music, it's 100 years old. The reason why a lot of when you go, why do they always do old like Shakespeare? Because the schools can keep 100% of their ticket sales. What happens is, I learned about this in high school when I was doing acting, and I do not do method acting. Oh God, we had several people do that, and it's not, for me, it's not, no. But anyway, when you have a high school and say they get a High School Musical, certain percentage of the sales have to be sent back because it's, licensed. But when you're dealing with something over 100 years old, from the 1920s, from anything over 100 years old, definite, it's what it is. They don't have to pay that. It's no longer, it's free. So that's what's wonderful. And I do love Shakespeare. I love the play within the play, and I love having to do that. In acting, I learned most of it on stage, which didn't bother me. It's real time. That means you have to ad lib at times. If somebody messes up their lines, you can't just say, cut, let's start over. You have to literally ad lib and think on your toes. I had a friend of mine, and I said, many friends, they didn't know how to memorize lines and how to keep it fresh and all that. And I would teach them. They go, how do you know? And I go, well, I used to act as a kid, and these are the things I was taught. And a lot of things that you go to classes. I've gone to acting classes. They do not teach you the things in which I would use it, in just, in plays and stuff. And that's what I think, that if you're going to have, when I went to college, I expected what I thought they should have done. Most colleges will have where they have a play, and the play is only from the people, majority of the people are in the class, so they can get what they call experience. Some people are not into acting, they're into the backstage. Some people are not into the acting, they're also into the makeup, they're into different stuff. So everyone is different. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like I've learned, I used to be, because I'm I'm an Aries and I'm a fire sign. I take charge of stuff I know. So, oh, we got someone from Turkey, Casey. The one thing I found out, and I call them, oh shoot, I don't have them. Those cards in which you memorize stuff and they come with lines, and then you can use the other side. It's white. I call them my cue cards. And a lot of people don't realize, if you have a big line and you got a lot of little lines, how to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, the flash. I tell people they're wonderful. Write them down, because you memorize why you write. Yeah. And, well, you got to remember, it was the 80s. Now we have our telephones, which is way better. We can actually take pictures of our cards, or take pictures of what we're memorizing, and don't have to carry a whole script. And, that was my idea back in the 80s. Right now, I would sit there and I would say, use your, think out of the box when it comes to memorizing lines. It's hard, especially if you have like words this long. Cut up the words. That's what I tell a lot of actors and actresses when we would talk. Cut up the words. I had a friend of mine that would I was like the go-to chick, so I helped the back crew. So my brother went to the same high school I went to, not the same exact. They built a billion, huge high school in Holly. It just massive. Most stages are like about, how can I say? They're about 3 feet, maybe 2.5, 3 feet. Our stage was so large, they made it wrong. They did a prom thing. It was like almost, it came up to here on me. I was like, really? They redid everything in the high school. I never got to see the new high school, but I remember having, Messer. The teacher was amazing, because he would listen to anybody who had ideas. He didn't care if you were female or male. If you were anyone with a new idea, he didn't care. He just wanted that idea there. The only problem was, he had his son who he thought he was going to be an actor, and he wanted to deal with nerd stuff. And I said, look, this is the deals. Your dad wants you to go into acting, not because he wants you to be an actor. He wants you to get laid and get a girlfriend. It was one of those things, like, I'm telling you, I'm reading between the lines. And he said, it was like, not my type thing. I think that when my mother had me do the commercials and whatnot, it was great. When it was fun, my family said, go for it. You can go for it. You can go and get that. But when you're dealing with somebody she became very power hungry, and my grandparents didn't like how she was treating me. So we did a Calcan commercial. They do what they call, see how people work. I don't know what the word for is, but when you work well with with your actors, if they're, dogs or whatnot, they had these little dogs that were just mean little bastards. They were. I had a fear of dogs up until my daughter had wanted a Chihuahua. She begged me and begged me and begged me. I want Fat Boy. I want a Chihuahua. I want that Chihuahua. So we got that Chihuahua and it ended up being Paul's. Ended up being my husband's Chihuahua. He passed away, got ran over by a car because he liked to chase them. So, and that was sad. You know, that was her favorite. But I had such a fear of Chihuahuas. It took my daughter, that I love very much, and I would do anything for her if she deserved it. And I told her I had a fear of Chihuahuas because of the fact that we had spent a whole day working with really mean ones. And that day was the day my acting career quit because I didn't get the part. And my mother was really upset. I was in the back of her car and she was beating me while my grandfather came up and pulled her off and told me to go and, you know, see my grandma. My mom just, that was the last time she probably seen me. It was what I remember. They said there was too many instances and they were going on with a divorce. The family actually made my father divorce my mother. He loved her that was his love. And when that happened, you know, things got better and they cut my hair short. They did. I usually don't look good and it's because my face frame was what my grandma said. She said that having short hair was not something that looked good for me. And trust me, I tried the Dorothy Hamill haircut. It did not look good. Will not go to short hair. And that's one thing I'll put in my contract. No cutting of hair. You can use all the wigs you want. So. Flashcards work in a pinch. They do. And writing, if you have a word that you have to know in the script, that you're talking about scientific stuff and it's got to be right. You're doing a whole true thing. You're doing a documentary and you are presenting the documentary, but you know the words, but you don't know how to pronounce them right. Dictionaries online, look it up and do what they do in a dictionary, how they have it separated. That is a wonderful way to memorize a word. I found that out. It's just, don't try it any other way. What you do, if you want to be an actress and you are in a documentary, you got to pay your bills. Let me tell you what you do. You go online, you look up what that word is. You will know how to, by the time you are done, I will guarantee you'll be spelling some really long words because you will understand them. And a lot of times you will amaze people. So it's a plus in that situation on dealing with words. And I tell people, you know, if it's someone's name, it's harder to look up. But even names, you can even find them in a dictionary and you can learn how to pronounce them. I have a hard time with the angel names. And I've gone through those books and it's like, wow. I haven't tried that with the angel names. I wonder if I could do that. That's an idea because they're really tongue twisters. God, I got some angel names on here. Let's see. Like they have this one. It's called what? You know, all these weird angel names, you know, and you're like, what the hell? I am not perfect. There's probably better ways to learn. You know, I've heard a friend say that she used to sleep and listen to her lines that she had said over and over. That I have not tried. And I really don't. If I'm not going to remember a book that I fell asleep with, I don't think I'm going to remember my own voice saying my lines. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different way to go. And I accept anybody's idea. But when I used to help over Mr. Messler, he would always say, somehow I look back and there's you running the back teaching people lines, and you got somebody else doing this. He goes, I leave, I know if you're here, I'm good. And he goes, when my brother said, I'm going into your class, Mr. Messer, he goes, yeah. And I go, when he'd hold up, he had been in the war, and when he'd hold up his hands, he did have some fingers missing, and everyone would make fun of him. I'm like, he was in the war, and yeah, he's good. He got my brother. He contacted me through Facebook. He's nothing like you, and he's like the people you used to take care of. And I go, really? He goes, he wanted to do acting, and he said he wanted method acting. I said, do you know how hard that is? You'll have to go home and act that way. You'll have to act that way till the end. It's a 2-month process that you're going to be going and doing all this stuff. I said, don't do method acting, because you really have to learn how it's done. And, oh God. He only went one semester with drama. He didn't. I went through it all my semesters. I graduated with extra because I wanted to learn as much as I could before I left high school and go to college. And I didn't even go to college right away. See, when your father makes an enormous amount of money, you don't go to college right away if you're trying to do it yourself and you don't have your parents pay for it, because they go by, until the age of 21, they go by what your parents make. So you're kind of screwed for a while. And that's the only thing I think that's really stupid. If you're emancipated from your parents, or you're not connected, you're not living with them, but that's okay. My dad had the best shopping market ever in his kitchen. He would offer, he'd go, so I went over to Costco and I got your favorite. He would buy extra food, not say nothing to his wife, and just load it in my car. Oh, I got the car overloaded. I had it in the garage. He'd buy, stuff that wasn't going to spoil, and then extra stuff in the freezer for me. He always did that. It was great. But if you want to learn acting, the best way to do it, they have some really good videos here. If you've never waitressed, you got to understand you have to always look around, because there's always some idiot who needs their water filled, their soda filled, they need something done, their ass hurts, whatever it is. You got to understand whatever you are dealing with in a production, you got to deal with. It could be anything, look it up, see how you act on these videos. Take your own personal video that you show yourself and friends and say, what could I do to make myself better? If you have a producer or a friend that deals with the production company, it's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I learned a lot. I watched a lot, because when I was a kid, you could not really speak out. You couldn't say, hey, I'm hot. Hey, I'm this. They have changed that. And it's amazing. If you have problems with your whatever, tell me. I'll see if I can help you. I know what it's like. I know as a kid knowing what it's like, but then going as a young adult. I was 18 by the time I graduated high school, because my birthday's in April. So being that my birthday's in April, I would be already 18. And I tell you this much, that was the most fun time in high school, because I really didn't have until I would say almost the end of my second year in high school and beginning of senior. It was horrible. I had to learn how to deal with some of these people and all the extra stuff that I had loaded on, because I wanted to be a master chef. I took that class, and there was me and there was me and 6 other girls. So it was 7 girls and the rest were men. It was all men. And then I went into retailing, and it's just, I loved going on the stage. I loved the acting. I loved the camaraderie. I loved dealing with my friends and doing everything from they had people who loved to do makeup. I would tell people what to do, and And this is what I always have said. And this is what I tell bosses to say. If you yourself aren't going to do it, then don't ask anyone. You do it yourself. But if you yourself would do it but can't and have to be somewhere else and somebody else has to, then that's where you would ask. And that's what I've always said. If I can't do it, then I obviously need help. So that's something to always understand in the fact of certain things. When you're dealing with acting, though, you can't be a child and you can't be certain, you can't cut your weight. Yeah, I mean, your height in half. And that it's been, Patreon is teaching me, but I am, of course, going to go and put, on all my stuff for my PayPal account. Right now, I'm going to have to deal with my PayPal account because of the fact that Patreon is looking to see if I can launch. So let's fingers crossed. I hope I can launch. It's under Omega Forever Pahrump, but that's fine. I put it under there. The reason why I changed it, the name, and I should have just kept it and said hell with it. I had a next door neighbor who used to, an ex next door neighbor who was, let's put it this way, I would call it an undocumented sex worker. I, in fact, has stated if her husband ever comes on there on my channel, he needs to have his child checked. When you have a woman who is making extra money the way she was, and it was busy. Oh my God. She was a big girl and it was like busy. It's like we used to get about 15 to 20 cars when the neighbor next door was living. And I'm not joking. And I said, geez, is that kid her, her husband or her boyfriend? Her boyfriend. But she had stated I was morbidly obese. Thank you, ex-neighbor, because I really was. And I want to thank you for telling me that I was fat, because no one else had the nerve to say that, but it could have been done nicer. I did not make the sign saying drug house. I wanted, if it would have been my sign, it would have been sex/drug house. You definitely made me realize one thing. I was fucking fat and I needed to lose weight, and I'm glad I did. And I'm still losing weight. If you ever have any questions, and I've been keeping up on looking on everything to answer any questions. I really would appreciate any advice. I take advice and I have no problem with that. At work I did. Sometimes it was because they would give me, never mind. I've gotten better. And I miss my friends at work. I miss my favorite manager, and I miss everyone. I do. I'm not crying, but I just miss everyone because they were just so fun, and I'd have such a good time. I would play practical jokes and, come up to some of my coworkers and show them funny things on my phone. And, we'd have the morning meetings. It was just, you miss people. And yes, I do have a favorite manager. I have a favorite go-to, and I have a favorite peep that we seem politically wise. It's good. But I do miss them. I do. Because you have favorite people you dealt with, people who you would go to that you have, and I just wanted to state, all right. As always, I really, it's a learning experience. I loved working there. I would have never quit, ever, in a million years. But my husband couldn't deal with it. It's just, he said I had more work to do here and I can take care of stuff here. And it's been a lot of work, a lot more than when I would work at work. And I would not do my work here, and I got a lot of stuff to deal with for the next couple weeks. I got to buy a container, put that in the yard, and then put all my stuff in. I'm very excited about that. But to go through all the stuff, I'm making sure that all my junk, I got to make sure what to sell, what to give away. And then I got to contact some friends at work who I know could use this. I got their phone numbers. So I have always done this. My friends get first pick of my stuff that I either have a yard sale. I'll tell them, come and pick what you need. You know, and I have clothing and stuff like that, because my friends get the first pick of what I have. If they want to buy, if they don't have the money, I don't care. I just want to help my friends. And a lot of times I don't make money off that, you know, but I do. You'll like to hear this. I have a picture, not a picture. It's like I put, not paint, it would be like watercolor paint, you know, on my butt, and I made a butt print. So I got a butt print. I got to make a new one. I put forth effort to be good, because a lot of people just don't have the money. And if I have the stuff and I'm not using it, it's stupid to hoard it. I just got to get rid of it. Oh, God. Get everything gone, start fresh. That's what I like. I got my new clothes. I'm done. I have certain favorite clothes. I'll replace it and get rid of the old and move on. Oh, yeah. Because I'm done with trying to look for crap. And my new, you know, I am going to get going. I will be here at 9. I will be made up. I'm just going to go swimming because I'm so hot. I just didn't put my swimsuit on. Of course, you know, I got my Prada one. I'm afraid to wear. The top half covers the strip, and I'm not making it up, is this big to cover. So Casey, if you need help on set learning lines, helping the actors learn lines, bring me on. I can help them, you know. Crap. I'm smoking vape right now. It's in the daytime. I will smoke my weed at night because our family members have complained, and which is true. I need to have my head in gear when I'm taking care of my own business and to look like I'm not a deadhead. So I love you guys. I will see you tonight at 9. We'll be playing music. So remember, it's going to be a hot one.